Hi there! Today, for something a bit different, I will show you how I program string machine sounds on the OB-6. Just a simple string synth sound, but trying to make it as 70s sounding, vintage-ish as possible. The same principles here can be applied to any polysynth, be it analog or virtual analog, but here it is on the OB-6. The basic blocks of a string synth sound are sawtooth waves, or better still, pulse waves. The OB-6 has both. So, as a reminder, oscillator 1 goes from sawtooth to square waves and everything in between. When the knob is all the way right and the pulse wave modulation knob is at the center, you get a pure square wave, and moving this add a pulse wave modulation. So we're going to use sawtooth on oscillator 1. Oscillator 2 goes from triangle to sawtooth to square wave, and we are going to use a pulse wave on oscillator 2. Also, let's detune a bit oscillator 2. Using LFO to add modulation to the pulse wave modulation. A square wave would be nice for the LFO, but the OB-6 has none, so I'd use a sine wave. Again, to add more friction and movement to the oscillators. Nothing too fancy on the envelopes. Now, filter. Usually for a string synth like a vintage string machine sound, you would use a low pass to smooth the high end. On the OB-6, I rather like the bandpass filter. With some resonance. This is already pretty good, but string machines back in the day would often use effects to beef up their sound. So we're going to add chorus. And to enhance that vintage vibe, we're going to use the phaser effect. There are 3 models of a phaser on the OB-6. Phaser 1 and 2 are variations on the same type, and phaser 3 is a recreation of the classic Oberheim phaser. We'll use this one with a very low speed but very high resonance. And because we are losing a lot of low end, I like to use the sub oscillator to add a bit more texture and body to the sound. The sub oscillator on the OB-6 is a square wave. Now the detune knob has 2 functions as of the latest firmware update. Originally you could only add oscillator drift, and you could go pretty far up to the point where it was barely usable. As of the latest update, you can switch to vintage mode, which also affects the voices and is like a more organic feel, and you can be more subtle with it also. So I think we have a reasonably vintage sounding string machine sound. Hope this has been useful. See you next time.